You're listening to Shooting the Breeze with Byron A. Lloyd. Dig it.
All right, this is Shooting the Breeze with your man, Byron A. Lloyd. You know the tagline, he is I am him. I'm the same guy. I'm 16 minutes behind schedule. Had technical difficulty. My internet went down. Had to reboot the router. But we're back here. We're still going to do this dang thing. First of all, I want to say this podcast and every podcast in this presidential candidate series is sponsored by King Snack Sales. 870-270-1498. My main man, Stephen King, as I call him, Stephen the Snack King, will come and vend any vending machine you got. If you need a vending machine full of goodness of snacks, just call 870-270-1498. And my man's a hardworking guy. He will show up, slam the machine in, slam the snacks in, and everybody will be happy. I also want to say that I want to give a special shout out to that bill-paying son of a bitch. He knows who he is out there, and that's the only time I plan on cussing. But try not to cuss because I get a bunch of feedback from my aunt who says I'm a foul-mouthed guy. And I tend to cuss a lot. Hey, I love the F word. What can I say? But I also want to say that I want to take the moment to wish my grandma, who's not on this planet no more, a happy 90th birthday. Today's her birthday, along with Cash May, Sandra and John May's boy, who turns the big one, the big Uno. So I want to give a special shout-out to both of them. I hope there was something beyond this world, if there's another life, that my grandma's there with my grandpa and they're drinking Pepsis, eating Little Debbie's, because God knows my grandma loved a cold Pepsi and a Little Debbie cake. And I also want to say that I pre-recorded the last episode, and I kind of felt bad because I was scared I was going to cuss a lot, because even though I went to radio, TV, broadcasting school, sometimes it's hard for me to flip the switch. And like I said, I enjoy saying the F word. It's the most versatile word in the English language. But I'm going to try to be a little bit more professional and try to keep the profanity to a minimum. Hopefully not at all. But like I said, this is part 2 of The Truth About Trump on my presidential candidate series, which will be followed up by a couple of podcasts about Hillary and her scandals and the misstatements she's made. And then we're also going to come behind at the end with Bernie Sanders and his entire career. So I'm going to cover all 3 of them, because a lot of people tend to get their news from these quasi-news sites or on Facebook, and they get a bunch of BS and misinformation, or they get something that's biased. And even though people know my political standings, I'm not going to be biased. I'm just going to give straight facts here. And like I said, we're going to keep the party bouncing. Last night we stopped on GoTrump.com, which was like a travel velocity powered search engine, for customers seeking luxury travel deals that went belly up after about a year. So we're going to move on to some more failed businesses of his, and then we're going to move on to some of his employment practices, and then we're going to move on to some of his statements he's made that people would say, and I'm going to let you decide for yourself, that are overtly sexist and racist, that shows he's bigoted against women and minorities. And like I said, I'm going to save it for the end. I'm going to do an opinion show. My man Chase Brady, who's been probably on my show more than anybody, very conservative guy. And we usually have a lively debate. He's going to come on at the end. We're going to discuss all the candidates. So here we go. Keep the ball rolling. Here we go. Trump 2, The Truth About Trump. We're going to move on. We have 2006 to 2007 Trump mortgage. And like I said, the man that Trump hired to hit his mortgage. And let me say something about Trump mortgage. Like I said, the reason I'm telling you the facts about Trump is because the 2 biggest things you always hear from Trump supporters is, he's a great businessman, right? And he says what he means. Okay. And we're going to hold him to that. And like I say, people forget he started out in the world after his family died. After his dad died, he got a $200 million inheritance. So, he didn't start from nothing. Let's be honest about that. And like I said, if you listen to the last one, he's filed bankruptcy 4 times, Chapter 11 twice, on his casino properties, which he did sold to Carl Icahn. But like I say, let's move on to Trump Mortgage, which was a mortgage company he started about 6 months before the entire housing market collapsed. And like I said, the man Trump hired to head this mortgage company called himself a top Wall Street executive, when in fact he had lackluster banking credentials and the company folded in a year. But like I say, Trump mortgage down the tubes, didn't make it a year. Then we move on. He decided to get into the booze game. We have Trump Vodka, 2006 to 2011. He brought out what he called a super premium brand of vodka, and it was launched under the slogan, which is pretty ironic: "Success distilled." The vodka entered production when the company couldn't meet the threshold sales requirements. All right, and then this is when he starts getting involved with these multi-level marketing type companies. A lot of people would consider them pyramid schemes, kind of sort of like Trump University, which he's facing 3 class action lawsuits right now for. I told you last night, Eric Steinerman, the Attorney General from New York, said it was nothing but straight fraud. After he's won it, keeps going after this judge, which is crazy to go after a judge that's proceeding over a lawsuit against you. It's like begging him to be biased against you. He claims he's biased, and that the proceedings are biased. So the judge, to prove that it's up on the up and up and it's legit, he unsealed the deposition in a bunch of papers, and the Trump employees themselves said that it was fraudulent. But we're going to let that play out in court. And this allegedly said that it was fraudulent. 2 of them, by the way, were veterans who got fired because they said because their military requirements and duties they had to perform duties for the military service, which interfered with their business with Trump U. So they were fired. They also filed lawsuits and were settled out of court. So we're going to keep going with the American Communication Network. It went on from 2006 to 2015. And for 9 years, Trump appeared in promotional videos selling ACE as quote-unquote revolutionary products. And their big product was a video phone. But the business model of ACN was based on multi-level marketing, like I said. It was almost indistinguishable from a pyramid scheme. ACN sales agents received a commission for selling a product to a new customer. Then they would try to recruit that customer and turn him into a salesman, and so on and so forth. You know how it works. They're still doing it with these vitamins nowadays. You go and hawk whatever juice vitamin it is, Herbalife. You turn your customer into a salesman. You get them to recruit more people, and you get a piece of everybody's commission. And allegedly, you're going to make a lot of money. But usually, the only people who make money is the people at the very top who started the whole thing, right? So, regulators in Canada and Australia flagged the company, but courts there concluded that ACN was not operating a pyramid scheme. But in the United States, however, ACN was ordered to cease and desist doing business on the grounds that it appeared to be running a pyramid scheme by Montana regulators. Right? But furthermore, despite a plug of a Celebrity Apprentice, the video phone was already selling poorly, partly because it was incompatible with other ACN video phones. So if you bought one of the video phones and your buddy didn't have a video phone, the thing was virtually worthless. The company reduced phone orders from its supplier and laid off 70% of its staff, and later filed to liquidate all assets in bankruptcy court, which seemed to be a running theme. And now we're going to get on with Trump steaks. And this is kind of funny because earlier this year, March 8th, Trump trying to prove what a great business acumen he has. He rolled out all these Trump products, which was kind of like a weird infomercial on a March 8th a press conference. And part of what he hawked was Trump steaks. But what was actually there wasn't Trump steaks, and let me tell you what they were. You expect Trump to prove because you expect if it was Trump steaks to be sprinkled with gold flakes or diamonds. But when he paraded his steaks out post-primary night press conference on March 8th, the meat had been purchased directly from Bush Brothers Provisions and dubbed quote-unquote Trump steaks. They weren't Trump steaks. In fact, the steaks sold at Trump properties and clubs arrived still wrapped in Bush Brothers packaging. They were not the Trump steaks that had been sold at the Sharper Image beginning in 2007. And why would you sell steaks at the Sharper Image? We'll get into that later because I don't want to give an opinion on it. But just think, the Sharper Image sells gizmos and gadgets. You know what I mean? Now, would you think it would be a solid idea to sell steaks at a place that sells gizmos and gadgets? I'll leave that for you to decide because I just want to give you the straight facts. Like I said, of course, they sold very poorly before being discontinued. And then we moved on to 2007, 2009. He come up with a magazine called Trump Magazine, and you didn't find this magazine on newsstands. You mostly found it in his hotels and his properties. But the glossy quarterly of Trump's magazine, he folded in 2009. Well, he recently brought up the campaign speech. The audience, as he asserted in his Trump Magazine, was unsurprising. Oh, my bad. Let me go back. It says he is. Let me read a direct quote from. By the way, this is the National Review, which is one of the most prestigious and conservative magazines, if not the conservative Bible of the United States. So don't think I'm getting this from some quasi news site, and I'm getting it from some trash magazine or the Inquirer or some gossip site. This is the National Review. This is considered the Bible of conservative magazines. You know what I mean? This is one of the most prestigious conservative magazines, if not the most prestigious conservative magazine in the country. And everything I'm going to read to you, I went out of my way to find the most reliable sources from the most distinguished and reputable magazine and media sources I could. So this is the National Review. And we're going to keep going. Trump magazine folded after 2 years. Like I said, you can only really find it on his properties. And just because Trump loves Trump, we know he loves Trump, right? There's no shortage of self-confidence or self-love for Donald Trump. Coincidentally, the cover of every magazine either had Trump or one of his kids on it. So that went for 2 years, folded up. Then Trump decided to get into the multi-level marketing game. And from 2009 to 2011, the Trump Network appeared. Now, Trump Network was, like I said, was another failed multi-level marketing venture that was arguably a pyramid scheme. It sold customized vitamins based on urine samples collected by its quote-unquote scientific testing kits. So basically what you would do is you would pay your money. They would send you a cup. You'd pee in this cup, which is kind of creepy. You'd send your urine in. They would look at your red blood cell count, your cholesterol, your blood sugar, all that. And they were supposed to customize a vitamin regimen for you that was, it was like customized just for you and your body type and, what was going on in your body. Like I said, and it was proven to be junk science. I've seen where Harvard doctors called it junk science. But the network worked on a bogus marketing strategy in which buyers become sellers. And you know how it goes. I sell it to you. I convince you to buy the salesman package. You become a seller. You recruit other people to become salesmen. And I get a piece of everybody's pie. But it usually only works for the people at the top. Like I said, this company was just like ACN. It was a multi-level marketing. And a lot of people would call it a pyramid. The company was sold in 2012. And recruiters took it on the chin and took most of the losses. And now we want to move on to Trump's hiring practices because, as you know, Donald Trump, he's always talking about bringing American jobs back and how important American jobs are, and the Mexicans are stealing their jobs. He's going to make America great. Well, let's see about his hiring practices. All right. In 2010, foreign workers at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort and other properties from 1991 to 2010. But 1991, Trump hired 200 illegal immigrant Polish workers to demolish the building on the site of the future Trump Tower. They were called the Polish Brigade, but he paid them less than minimum wage, and they tended to work 7 days a week. And he skirted, this is documented fact, he skirted work laws. But like I said, since then, in 2010, he pursued 500 visas for foreign workers at his Palm Beach Mar-a-Lago resort. And he passed over hundreds of American applicants for the same jobs because he didn't want to pay them above minimum wage. Trump-owned companies have tried to import over 1,100 workers on temporary visas since the year 2000, including Trump Model Management and Trump Management Group, LLC. They've imported 250 fashion models. And one of those models out of 250, guess who it was? Melania Trump, his current wife, his third wife, because he had Ivana, who he was cheated on. Then he went to Marla, who he cheated on, and now Melania, his third wife. And we'll get into that, and I'll give you my opinion on his infidelities later on the opinion show. Now, this is the newest thing he's done, this kind of loophole, skirt the law. Ivanka is married to this cat. They opened up this Trump Tower in New Jersey of luxury apartments, right? And it's called Trump Bay Street. And about $25 million of the $50 million raised for the project, which constitutes loans to the controversial EB-5 visa program. And now here's the loophole in the EB-5 visa program. if you invest $500,000 in this program in some type of American business project, it gives you a 2-year visa so you can come over here. And it's a real easy way, if you got a lot of money, to get into America without being properly vetted to make sure you're not some type of nut job or you want to do foul things in this country, right? So $50 million raised by this project constitutes loans, and which a quarter of it, let's say, which one quarter of the $50 million come from Chinese foreigners, and they all got 2-year visas in exchange for a minimum of a $500,000 investment in this American project. Some EB-5 applicants were cleared in under a month, and critics argue that this program threatens national security, and they further argue that it amounts to selling visas to wealthy foreigners who lack proven skills. So once again, these Chinese people who steal our jobs and who are making America not great, who that he rails about, he more than happily and greedily took their money and give them 2-year visas to come to this country, right? So, like I say, that's his hiring practices. So, as you can see there, that's over what, like 1,600 American jobs that he's giving away to foreigners. Not to mention the hats he makes that say "Make America Great Again" or "Made in China." But we're going to get into some of his statements now, because people, when they always talk about Trump, they talk about they like what he says what he thinks, and that like I said, he says what he thinks, and he's a great businessman. Well, that right there, kind of, I hate to say it, that was a bunch of failed ventures on his part. So I don't know. I'll let you decide. But to me, I ain't like I say, it's hard for me not to make an opinion. But that was a bunch of failed business ventures, and I'll let you decide about it. How great a business acumen one Donald J. Trump gets. Now, let's get into some of his more controversial statements. Right? So we're going to go through here. Let me see. And I want to get these from legitimates. So we're going to go to the Atlantic. Is it the Atlantic where I was looking? No, or Salon. What Salon's to? All right. Give me a second here. Well, like I say, Trump University right now, he's in the middle of 3 lawsuits. He keeps railing on this judge. The judge released depositions where not only that the people that Trump employed, who were mentors, who really had no idea about the real estate business, said it was a scam, but 2 of them were veterans who were fired because their military requirements, the requirements to fulfill their military service, interfered with their duties and Trump used, so they were fired. They filed a lawsuit, and Trump, who claims right now, I think he's got 3,500 lawsuits to his name, who claim he fights to the end, but coming to find out he settled most of them. Which, you come to find out Trump's a living and walking contradiction. And you wouldn't believe the things he says, and we're going to get there. So we're going to go to Huffington Post. A lot of people say it's a little left-leaning, but these are actual quotes. It ain't like I'm making them up. These are things he said. Like I said, I want to give all my sources. Huffington Post is considered a reputable site. God knows he said evil things about Arianna Huffington, the owner and founder, she don't own it no more. But let's get it cracking. Donald Trump said that he didn't want to buy his wife assets. You ready? That giving your wife negotiable assets is a terrible mistake. And then he refused to buy her diamonds and stuff because those are assets that she could keep if they got a divorce. Right? So he said that women are essentially aesthetically pleasing objects, which is kind of mild for him. But he tends to have a pattern of objectifying women. He also said in this exact tweet, we read his tweet, that sexual assault in the military is totally expected. And this is a quote, this is a tweet from Donald Trump. 26,000 unreported sexual assaults in the military, only 238 convictions. What do these geniuses expect when they put men and women together? So he's basically saying it's okay. And it's okay, man, for women to be sexually assaulted in the military, because what do you expect? That grown-ups and mature grown-ups, men and women can't work together without some guy trying to force his penis into a woman, which is kind of heinous, you know what I mean? Don't call me crazy. I would say it was a little sexist, but I'm not going to, because, like I said, I'm going to keep this as not opinionated as I can until I do the opinion show with Chase Brady at the end. But we're going to knock this out. This is from the Telegraph, which is a British paper. And this is some of the things he said. And like I said, no joke, Donald Trump, I've heard the things he said to women backstage at these beauty pageants. And he said he's called women fat pigs, dogs, slobs, and disgusting animals. Carly Fiorina, when she was running, he openly said on national TV, look at that face. Would anyone vote for that? Like the presidential race is a some type of popularity contest. You know what I mean? In 1990, let me look at my phone. I'm getting messages here. But in 1990, like I said, is what he said, giving women assets. Well, I can't even find my phone. So if you're sending me messages, we're going to be up a creek here. I hear it going off, though. This is live, so I really ain't got time to mess around. I'm down to my last 10. So if you're sending me comments, I'll have to get them on the next one, because I can't seem to locate my phone. So we're back in it. In 1990, he said, when giving your wife assets is a terrible mistake. In an interview with Vanity Fair, while he was still married to Ivana, Trump said, I would never buy Ivana any decent jewels or pictures. Why give her negotiable assets? And in 1991, he referred to a young woman as a beautiful piece of ass. When George H. Bush was U.S. President, Trump spoke to Esquire magazine about the media. And this is what he said, quote, you know, it doesn't really matter what they write, as long as you've got a young and beautiful piece of ass, unquote. In 1997, he said, all women are gold diggers. From the seminal tone, Trump, the Art of the Comeback on Prenuptial Agreements, and that's his book. And this is what he said in the book, a little paragraph. Quote, there are basically three types of women and reactions. One is the good woman who very much loves her future husband, solely for himself, but refuses to sign the agreement on principle. I fully understand this, but the man should always take a pass anyway and find someone else. The other is the calculating woman who refuses to sign the prenuptial agreement because she's expecting to take advantage of the poor, unsuspecting sucker she's got in her grasp. There is also the woman who will openly and quickly sign a prenuptial agreement in order to make a quick hit and take the money given to her. So in all three instances, he said women are just gold diggers, man. They all want money. 2004, Donald Trump, not lacking in self-confidence, said that he was irresistible to women. Back in 2004, he told the Daily News, all the women on The Apprentice flirted with me, consciously or unconsciously. That's to be expected. Unconsciously flirted with him. I'm about to save that also for the opinion show. I got an opinion for that. When he told an Apprentice contestant she'd make a great wife in 2005, according to one woman who appeared on the show, Trump told her, I bet she'd make a great wife. The comment never aired on TV. Can't imagine why. Because that's standard interview job stuff. Now, this is what creeped me out. Back in, he was on The View back in 2004. And this is video you can find on YouTube. And according to ABC News, and he also said this on The View, I've seen the video in 2004, Trump said about his own daughter, this is so creepy. I'm sorry to give an opinion on that, but this is factually what he said, but it's so creepy I can't help myself. According to ABC News, back in 2006, Trump said, if a vodka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her, unquote. Spokesman said later it was a joke. Man, I've never heard people joke about that, about their kids. And like I said, when him and his feud with Rosie O'Donnell, It's no secret. And I can sit here and list all the things he said about Rosie O'Donnell. He's called her pig, fat slime, yada, yada, yada. But it's like I said, quote, this is what he said about Rosie. Rosie O'Donnell's disgusting, both inside and out. If you take a look at her, she's a slob. How did she even get on television? If I were running The View, I'd fire Rosie. I'd look her right in the fat, ugly face of hers and say, Rosie, you're fired. Quote, we're all a little chubby, but Rosie's just worse than most of us. But it's not the chubbiness. Rosie's a very unattractive person, inside and out. He also took a jab at her love life to offend the LGBT community at the same time. Rosie, quote, Rosie's a person who's very lucky to have a girlfriend, and she better be careful or I'll send one of my friends over to pick up her girlfriend. Why would she stay with Rosie if she had another choice? 2007, he compared women to architecture. This also appears in his book, The Bible of Business Wisdom, Trump 101, The Way to Success. Beauty and elegance, quote, beauty and elegance, whether in a woman, a building, or a work of art, is not just superficial or something pretty to see. He tends to have a moment where he likes to objectify. 2007, on the Larry King Show, Trump addressed about Angelina Jolie and her father, who's a very conservative guy, John Voight, famous actor as well. Great actor, kind of kooky. But this is what he said about it on Larry King Show in 2007. Quote, I really understand beauty, and I tell you, she's not. I do own Miss Universe. I do own Miss USA. I own a lot of different things. I do understand beauty, and she's not. Which, that's definitely going to be left on the opinion show because Brad Pitt's a good-looking guy. And I would believe there's millions of men, tens if not 20 million men who would argue that Angelina Jolie is pretty attractive. But we'll leave that for me and Chase on the opinion show. And 2007, he tried to make a TV show called Lady or a Tramp. And he wanted to make a reality show in which out-of-control party girls were sent to charm school to learn some manners because, God forbid, a woman should be anything but demure. Tragically, and thankfully, it was never made. In 2008, and she's a sweet actress, a sweet girl from everything I've read, Anne Hathaway. When her marriage broke up following her husband, Raffaella Falari's financial and legal troubles, she was married to a guy who was basically a white-collar scam artist on Wall Street. Trump said this to Access Hollywood. So, quote, so when he had plenty of money, she liked him. But then after that, not as good, right? Okay. Beauty and the Trump and beauty queen Carrie Prejean, of course, who would become famous in Miss USA pageant, wrote about the Trump rule in her book. Referring to the Miss USA pageant in which Trump was a co-owner, she claimed that the billionaires had the girls parade in front of him so he could separate those he found attractive from those he didn't. She wrote, many of the girls found the sex exercise humiliating. Oh, my bad. She wrote, quote, many of the girls found the sex exercise humiliating. Some of the girls were sobbing backstage after he left, devastated to have failed even before the competition really began. It was though we had been stripped bare. Wow. Unquote. That's harsh. Whoops. Another opinion slipped out. It's hard. It's hard not to, man. I was raised by women, strong women. I believe women can do anything. And I believe women are a whole lot more than just something pretty to look at or a sex object. I believe women can accomplish anything. And I believe women are equal to a man. And to objectify any human being to me on a personal level is wrong. And that was the only opinion I'm going to give. And that don't have nothing to do with Donald Trump. That's in general. It don't matter who it is. Like I say, I'm down to the last minute, so we're going to get this last bit in. And in November 10, when he asked men on The Apprentice to rate women, according to a report in the New York Post, former female contestants on the show that complained that Trump consistently objectified women. Masha Saidi Akuzi claimed so much of the boarding discussion concerned the appearance of the female contestants, discussing the female contestants' looks and who he found to be hot. Quote, he asked the men to rate the women. He went down the line and asked, who's the most beautiful on the women's team? Gene Folks, a 46-year-old financial advisor, said, quote, I think I was the most uncomfortable when he had one female contestant come around the board table and twirl around so everybody could judge her, unquote. Like I say, I'm down to the last 10 seconds. This is Shooting the Breeze with your man, Byron A. Lloyd. Truth About Trump 3's coming up. King Snack Sales. And I'm out. Later.